Hello, Husker fans. This is Sam McKewon along with Abby Barmore with the Omaha World-Herald. Big Red today and Omaha.com. Well, it's Wednesday. It's gorgeous. There's a blue sky. That's good. Nebraska football practice. Both coordinators, Eric Chinander and Matt Lubick, talking to reporters today. And then we got some players, too. Miles Farmer, Quentin Newsome, Oliver Martin, and Wyatt Lever. We'll talk to Abby in a minute about the receivers. Let's start first with Lubick. Lubick's Lubick, right? He's a pretty straightforward, straight-laced guy, so we kind of talked a little bit about Nebraska's offense and where they're at. He feels like the deep balls are going better, so they're trying to extend the field both horizontally. That's those bubble passes that you see, and then the vertical go routes. And it feels like they've got the kind of guys who can pull that off now. Lubick kind of brought some schemes here when he got here. I think that kind of helped with that. And then he had a lot of compliments and praise for Adrian Martinez, who has improved his accuracy, Lubick said, and also his arm strength. Martinez had NFL arm strength when he was a freshman. It kind of felt like it went away a little bit as a sophomore and a junior. It felt like he was throwing a little bit softer. But when we talked to Martinez, it was 9 days ago now, it felt like he thought his arm was stronger and he was lighter and faster. The receivers, well, I think that's still a work in progress. They've got a lot of guys that they like talent-wise. Lubick kind of rattled off a bunch of different names. Abby, the two guys that we talked to today were Oliver Martin and Wyatt Lever. I'm going to talk to you about Martin because the Michigan, then Iowa transfer, now at Nebraska, has been impressive in camp, according to teammates and coaches. And what did he have to say? He's kind of a quiet guy. First time he's talked to us, what did he have to say?
He touched on right away that now that he's had this full off season to really work with Nebraska and get to know the system, and when he transferred in from Iowa last year, he talked about how he wasn't taking that many reps in practice the first 4 games because they didn't know if he was going to be able to get eligibility. So after that, when they realized it was probable that he started taking more reps in practice, got out on the field, and that's when we really got to see what he could do when he got more comfortable with the playbook. And now he's at this point where he knows the plays, he knows what's to do, so he's not thinking as much. He's just moving, running fast, and also, helping those other young guys kind of figure out what's happening and read the defenses and know the playbook inside and out. Martin's
an interesting cat. Now, this is a guy who was a world-class swimmer in high school, a great one, then kind of decided he was going to play football as a senior. In high school, he committed to Michigan, played well at Michigan. Michigan did not want him to transfer. Jim Harbaugh did not want him to transfer. He transferred back home to Iowa because he went to Iowa City West High School. He was there for a year. That didn't go real well, I don't think, really for him or for them. And so he transferred again, and he walked on at Nebraska. And I think one of the first games he played last season was back at Iowa, and we didn't get a chance to talk to him about that. But Martin now has basically 2 years left, and I think they really like where he's at. He told us today that he ran a 4.5 double laser timed, which is closer to a 4.48 in a combine setting. That's fast. And Wyatt Lever also said that he's won pretty much every matchup, one-on-one matchup in practice. Did you glean anything from Lever's comments? Obviously, Wyatt, one of the taller receivers on the team, a walk-on guy who emerged in the last half of last season and even caught a touchdown. Anything jump out at you about what he said?
Mostly he just talked about, the pride of being a walk-on and helping those guys that haven't been able to, the younger guys that haven't been able to play in Memorial Stadium with 90,000, to help them get through and to realize how awesome it is, he said, for it to be in front of 90,000, and he's excited for the, stadium to fill up and to be able to see fans this Saturday and also during the spring game.
Nebraska's defenders today were Quentin Newsome and Miles Farmer, and they were good. They were both really funny and really outgoing. They're part of a very competitive defensive backfield, made much more competitive by the fact that Deontay Williams and Markel Dismuke decided to come back. Farmer was pretty much in line to be a starter if both of those guys went to the NFL, but they both came back. Farmer seemed okay with that. He said it's football, it's competition. There would have been somebody else that was competing with him. Quite frankly, I think Farmer would have been the starter if Dismuke and Williams weren't here, but they are, and he's kind of rotating with those two guys. It won't surprise me at all if Farmer is sort of in a rotational deal with those safeties once the season begins. People remember he had 2 interceptions against Northwestern, then got hurt against Purdue before the game. It was just sort of a freak accident. He's not quite 100% back from that, so he's doing mostly drills, but he is in practice and he feels pretty good. And I think maybe by the spring game he'll be all the way back and maybe play some football action. Quentin Newsome, on the other hand, is in a tight, difficult, competitive battle for that corner opposite Cam Taylor-Britt. Newsom's probably going to play, so is probably Braxton Clark, maybe even Adapt Joseph. But it's a competitive battle right now, and Newsom said every single day it's really challenging. Well, okay, Saturday we're going to have an open practice here in Memorial Stadium. They're going to be on the field, and there's going to be about 4,000 fans over there in West Stadium, and we're going to be two of them. So, Abby, what are you looking forward to watching on Saturday as it relates to the open practice?
I'm excited to see how it shakes out with the running backs. They've had, some guys get injured, and so the guys that are taking the most reps right now that we have seen are Gabe Irvin and Yant, and it'll be interesting to see how they do, how they use them, if there are any other guys that they can put out there that are healthy for that game.
I'll be interested to see if Sevion Morrison is practicing. Morrison is a guy that I know they love in terms of his talent and his ability to break away, to bounce runs outside. He's a big play guy. He's a home run hitter. I'll be curious to see if Morrison is out there on Saturday. As for me, I'm interested, obviously, in Logan Smothers, the backup quarterback. What can he do? What's it like in terms of the weather? Does he throw the football well? Running is hard to gauge because they're going to have a green jersey on, but Logan Smothers is a good runner. The other thing I'm going to be watching is some of those young outside linebackers, Blaze Gunnerson, Jamari Butler, guys that I know that have been coached hard by Mike Dawson in camp. I'll be curious to see if anybody can get after the quarterback. They'll probably have some one-on-one drills where we'll be able to see them against offensive tackles, and we'll just see who wins. We'll find out. We're going to have a full report from Saturday's open practice, including a post-practice video. So we'll talk then. As for now, I'm Sam McKewon. This is Abby Barmore. Thanks for listening. Be sure to read omaha.com, the Omaha World-Herald, and Big Red Today.